Originally, I was a musician, like a performer. I was guitarist and bass player, and I started doing this professionally when I was 16 years old, so quite young. And when I was 18, one day I met Luc Besson. We met in a recording studio where I was doing sessions, and he was friend with the singer I was playing with, and we were both 18 because we are the same age. And a few months later, he did his first short movie and asked me to compose the music for it. And I had never done this before, but well, I was composing like in my bedroom, like any musician. And but Luc insisted, like, say, yeah, I saw you improvising. I'm sure you're a composer, and so that's how it started. So I did his first short movie like this, and then a few months later, we did his first big movie, which was The Last Battle, and then a couple of years later, Subway, and then The Big Blue, etc. So usually he tells me the story even before he writes it down. It tells me the story as soon as he's got it in his mind. And so once he told me the story, usually I start to think about it. I don't work on it. I just, it's somewhere. It's like when you put a seed in the in the soil, you don't see anything, but something's happening, and so it's a bit like this. So I have this story in my mind, and I start thinking, what type of music am I going to do for this story? Like what instruments am I going to use? And I don't start composing, but I start thinking like this. And then I wait for the movie to be ready, to be shot and edited, at least the first edit that gives a good idea of the movie. That's usually when we watch the movie together with Luc, and he's got a precise idea usually where he wants the music and what he wants the music to bring. Not necessarily in terms of instruments. Usually I'm completely free to decide what type of music, but he knows that he wants this emotion or this emotion brought by the music, so he can focus on shooting something else. And so the music for him is a real part of the whole script, and it's like a second dialogue. And so we watch the movie together and talk about the different scenes together. And then I start working and composing, and then he comes every now and then to listen in my studio, to listen to what I've done, and that's how it works. So that's the original method we have created together. But after many years, because we have done so many films together, now more and more, he gives me the movie when it's done, and we know each other very well now. So, but at this time, when we did Léon, it was still like this, like very together, working precisely on each scene. When I first was thinking of what kind of music I was going to do, at this time it was exactly the beginning. I mean, not the very beginning, but almost beginning of the rap music. And every time you would see anything shot in New York, there would be rap music at this time. And so I was trying not to do the same. I was like, I'm not going to do rap because it's in New York. And so the other thing I thought is, well, New York is the most cosmopolitan city in the world. There are all those cultures mixed together. And so I thought, I'm going to do this with the music. And I started trying on the first opening scene. And the second thing that made me think about that is the opening scene where you have those skyscrapers that are quite old, And there are, at the same time, for my generation, skyscrapers are a symbol of modern things. It's very modern, but at the same time, those skyscrapers are already very old. And so it reminded me of the pyramids, the Egypt pyramids. So all those things combined, I thought I tried this type of music with Arabic influence and ethnic rhythms and symphonic and, well, everything. And when I saw the opening scene, I did put the music on it. It was working perfectly because it was giving it all those things I just said. I could feel them with the music on those images. When Gary Oldman and his crew killed the whole family, I like this one because it's one of the main theme of the music, and it, well, I like it. It works really well, and another one I like also is the one when Léon and Mathilda are on the roof and he teaches her how to shoot, and they shoot at the guy doing his jogging, but they shoot with a paintball. And I like this one very much too because it's got a very weird atmosphere, very dreamy, and for some reason I like it. Léon was very successful in America, and every time, well, I am more known in America for Léon than for the Big Blue, which is the opposite in any other countries. Well, after that there was The Fifth Element, but that's later. So the first movie that made me known in America is Léon, and all the work I did after that in America was because of Léon. When, for example, when I did the James Bond movie, The Golden Eye, they called me because they were big fans of Léon and the music, the soundtrack, Léon's soundtrack. And when I first saw the movie, because they called me once the movie was almost finished, they did screening for me, and all the temp music, because I don't know if we know this, but when people do a movie before the soundtrack is done, usually they put temporary music just to help the editor, etc. And like 80% of the temp music was the music, the Léon soundtrack. So that was pretty easy for me and quite a honor. Each one is a big adventure, and I never listen to my music when it's done. It's because it's like when you're a composer, listening to your music is a bit like looking at pictures of you when you were younger. So, okay, once in a while maybe it happens, but you don't spend all your day doing this. And so each soundtrack is more in my memory as the adventure it was to compose it, not as the result that you can listen to. So each adventure is fantastic for different reasons. But I have to say that Léon, and I swear it's not because we are talking about Léon now, but if I had to choose one, maybe it would be Léon, because I like the result very much, because I think it's quite weird, quite original at this time. It was very new to do to mix, to combine all those different styles, like symphonic with synth, with African percussions, and with Arabic melodies, and that was quite new at this time. And I think it sounds good because it doesn't sound like things stuck together. It sounds like a real thing. Everything is well integrated, and so I'm very happy with this. And so if I had to choose one under the torture, it would be this one. Okay.